Have you ever wanted to guest on a podcast like this one that you're listening to right now? Well, you can. You can definitely do this by visiting a website called Podmatch, where you can sign up and be available for all different types of podcasts that you can guest on. Or you can even search for a podcast and say, I want to guest on your podcast. I think we'd be a good match. So if you want to do this, you can go to our unique link, which is joinpodmatch.com/reality, and you can sign up and do exactly that. And you can find us and you can guest on our podcast. So again, that unique link is www.joinpodmatch.com. That's joinpodmatch.com/reality, REALITEA, and you can be a guest on our podcast. Welcome to Reality Tea X2, the podcast where we discuss all the trash reality TV we love to hate. I'm Tanika, and today we are going to be discussing Bachelor in Paradise, the first episode. I know the second one already came out the day prior to me recording this, but I promise, guys, I'm going to be doing a lot of catching up since I'm away from my day job for about 5 days. It's great. Anyway, so I'll be able to do a lot of catching up. So, couple of announcements before we get into this. Love is Behind episode 7 will be coming to you no later than Sunday morning. And then we will be jumping back into the newer episodes that are coming out, which have come out as I'm recording. So that's the deal. I do also have another surprise guest coming on. I'm not going to say when. I'm not going to say for which episode. Still working out those kinks. But that should be coming to you in the next, let's say, a week or so. And then show alert. Married at First Sight, Denver is coming. That one snuck up behind me because I didn't realize it was coming soon. We just kept hearing this fall, didn't know exactly when. But for those who are Married at First Sight fans, we are covering it. And it does look pretty good this season. I hope they really do up the ante because, the last season was not great in terms of drama and all of that. Like, I need a little more from them a little bit, but this one does look like it might be good. Some interesting matches for those who watch the kickoff episode where they kind of show the process of how they pick people, which they started doing maybe about 4 or 5 seasons ago. That aired on Wednesday. We're not covering it. I'm not covering that. I only cover premiere shows and so on and so forth, but I won't be covering that. But it was good. There were some interesting matches. There is one person who is still undecided, so I guess we won't know who he's been paired with until the premiere night. I believe next week we have Kevin and people making predictions. Again, not covering it. Probably not even watching it. However, I do believe there is somebody on there. I missed who it was. I didn't see them clearly. But I don't remember their names either. But both me and Ava described the pairing as Little Mermaid and Mr. Clean. This is the one that have the infamous fight of, beating him. Take up for me then. Why did they take up for me then? If you're a Married at First Sight fan, you know who I'm talking about. My mom seems to think it was her and she was crying and he wasn't there. So we might be watching just so we can see that. And depending on what that is, I might talk about it. But otherwise, we're not covering that. The show starts on October 18th. So we will be covering from that point onward. Great. Well, luckily, I think Love is Blind will be kind of finished around that point. That'd be helpful and kind of get back on track a little bit. But yeah. So that's kind of that on that. Don't think we have any other announcements. I know we talked F-Boy Islands coming soon. Why do I feel like it's also the 18th? Might be later in the month, might be more like the 25th or something, but we're covering that like I've mentioned. So yeah, we'll be covering that. And I think that is it for announcements. So now we're going to jump into the reason we're here. Bachelor in Paradise season, I don't even know, episode 1. It will be properly titled when I title it. Again, just, the first day of Paradise. I don't know. They don't really title these, I think. Anyway, so we hear the theme song from Flashdance, What Feeling? Yeah, that classic. And we just see a bunch of people dancing, and they're dancing to Paradise. You kind of see like Aaron, Kat, Mercedes, I think, was dancing. I think Olivia was another person we saw. So we see a bunch of people dancing and loving life. Great. Let's jump into the actual stuff. So, of course, we see our favorite person, Jesse. At least he's my favorite person. I don't know about anybody else. But, he tells us that someone, as we kind of already know, will be getting married in Paradise. Yes, we don't know who that is, but our first wedding on the beach. Fun. So first, we are going to be meeting some of the people we'll be seeing at the beach. They don't show us everybody, but we see Rachel. She's excited for Brayden. Okay, so with that said, then we are seeing Brayden again. And he's excited for either Kylie, Jess, or Kat. No mention of Rachel. Now we know that there's some sort of connection that happens between the two of them. We kind of got a little spoiled on that. That's really fucking interesting for what we see. Ooh, I'm here for that. Anyway, then we see Kylie. Now, if you remember Kylie was on Zach season. Also, Jess was on Zach season. Kat was on Zach season. So basically, he's just excited for everybody who was on Zach season. So we see Kylie. She, point blank, nothing else. She's just excited to see Avon. Avon was on Michelle's season. Was it Michelle's season? No, sorry, I lied. Gabby and Rachel's season. So she's excited for him. And she's basing all of this on because when she would post pictures on Instagram, he would send emojis, heart emojis, whatever else emojis, heart eye emojis, who knows. But then it got finalized with a fire emoji. Well, I mean, I guess, yeah, according to her and Darcy, that means something. When someone sends you a fire emoji. And I was thinking, okay, is this what life is? Is this what life is for this generation of women are, like the newer generation of women are basing everything on emojis? Because as we kind of see later, like, Will also is following her Instagram. I guess because he's not sending emojis, she's not noticing. So weird. Anyway, then we see Aaron and then we see Mercedes. So Aaron does mention he's kind of excited. Well, no, actually, I don't think he mentions at this point who he's excited to see, but later on he does mention he's kind of excited to see either Kylie or Mercedes. So anyway, so then we see Mercedes. Then we see Sean, aka Ken, and I don't even give a shit. I don't like him. And I actually don't even like Aaron either. I kind of said it, guys. I said it in the beginning with the whole stupid coin shit. I'm like, dude, you're annoying. He still is to me. I haven't had much time between charity season and Aaron to because Aaron was on the last second last episode. I don't care. At least I've been somewhat removed from Brayden, so I'm like, okay, okay. But there's never enough time for Sean because he bugs the hell out of me. Aaron, I haven't had enough time. Anywhere. Okay, let's continue. Sean tells us he's excited for Jess. Now, remember Jess? Jess was on Stack season. She was really quiet, kind of didn't really put herself out there very much, and it showed. That's how I described her, anyways. So I do want to mention here, because this is important. Sean mentions that he really likes Taylor Swift and knows that Jess also really likes Taylor Swift. This comes back a little bit. Okay. Then we see Jess. And then we see Will. Now, Will was on Michelle's season. He's the one on Michelle's season. And he is the guy whose coat got thrown into the pool. Yeah, he's that guy. I can't remember the reason why that happened, nor can I remember who did it. But that shit was fucking funny. I don't even care. He was so defeated. So defeated. Anyway, so Will says he's excited about either Kylie, Olivia, he's about all of them, and Kylie, and Olivia, and Brooklyn. Uh-huh. Then we see Brooklyn. I love Brooklyn so much. She still doesn't like Kat. Either do I. She kind of makes fun of her and how she's like, it's hot. It's butts. Oh my god. And we literally then see Kat. And of course, we see her complaining because it's too bright. And then she's complaining about bugs. Like, ugh. She says she likes the heat. But she doesn't like the things that come with it, like the bugs or stuff like that. Which, fine, I don't like bugs either. But she constantly has a complaint. She's excited for Blake. Blake, my boy Blake, who I've been seeing. See, this is the thing. They only mention that this is kind of like he's done this 3 times now. Let me say something. It didn't just start then. Our boy is Canadian, and I first saw him on the Canadian Bachelorette. Pretty sure. Mine right here. Pretty sure. He was. Yeah. Because I remember seeing him on What's Her Face's season and thinking, okay, no, I know this guy. He was on the Canadians. I've been seeing him since then. My guy. My guy. We live in the same province or from the same province. I don't know if he lives here. I know he kind of is like a nomad a little bit with his job. But my guy. I do love Blake though. I do love Blake. He looks real fucking good this season too. Oof. Damn. And but this is the reaction all the women have when he walked on the beach. But yeah, here he is again. And I wrote, I guess, 5th time's a charm because it didn't work before any other time. But I don't know a lot of details with the situation between him and Katie. But I do know like that barely worked and then she went to a different person on her season and she's a little bit of a mess. Because because not only are we seeing her here, but she is also going to be on F Boy Island. My lord. My lord. Anyway, so now we're back on the beach. It's open. And the first person on the beach is Rachel. And fun fact, she is the second Bachelorette to be at Paradise. So that's cool. That's great. And it worked for Becca. It really did. And I remember kind of thinking, like, I remember when they brought Becca back, I'm like, listen, why no? I feel like there should not be any bachelorettes or bachelors on the show. Come to think of it, we haven't had a bachelor yet on the show. And I was like, I don't, but it worked. It worked for Becca, right? Even more so than I think I ever thought it would for her with who she picked, but well, damn, it seemed to work. And Thomas is still around and they had a kid, and it's great. I'm happy for her. I am. I'm always still sketchy about Thomas, but clearly, he's great. Anyway, so then we see Erin, then Brooklyn, and her earring falls. I think it was her left earring was the first of all. And she mentions to Erin here that Charity is her best friend and that they have been talking about him. So she has a little insight about Erin already. And then we see her talking again in like an interview style thing to the camera, and then her other earring falls off. Poor thing. Then Kat is here. So Kat's the AT cat, the fun cat. She's here. Who's also from Zach season. Like I mentioned, Brooklyn's from Zach season as well. I'm sure everyone knows that already. Anyway, then comes Sean. Ugh, and he's wearing a sweater. What is it, cashmere too? You can't take it off. I hate him. I can't with him. He didn't do anything. He just rubs me the wrong way. I don't know why. I don't know. Anyway, then Rachel says that she's open to talking to him later. The fuck? That is not what I pictured. That is not at all what I pictured as her type. Like, especially they didn't, like, what's his face? What was his name? Tito, whatever the hell. That made sense to me. That made sense to me for what I thought her type would be. Sean? Why? Oh, okay. Anyway, then here comes Will. And of course, we know he's known for being the jacket guy. Everyone knows him as a jacket guy. Then we see Kylie. Aaron and Kylie are the first to talk. She's actually moving to San Diego, where he lives currently. Said he loves it there. He's been there for 5 years. And she's like, oh, you're a realtor. You could, like, hook me up. That's how you know, sir, that she's not interested. Then we see Will talking to her, and she seems to really like him. They seem to be hitting it off. Then we see Brayden in the typical Brayden fashion with the hat, the earrings, and, whatever. Typical Brayden. And kind of funny, like Sean and Aaron are kind of off to the side away from everybody else talking, saying that they have good vibes and that they don't want anything to ruin the good vibes, and that if Brayden comes walking down the stairs, it's gonna ruin the good vibes. So it's just like, okay, all right. And it's funny because just Sean is kind of like, I just keep looking over there waiting for Brayden to come walking down the stairs. Dude's Brayden's walking downstairs. Was the timing. The timing was great. But they're just like, ugh, why is he here? He hasn't changed. And Aaron's like, oh, he looks the same. Means he hasn't changed. What do the two things have to do with each other? Dum. But anyway, I'm just like, okay, you guys look fucking ridiculous. If anything, you keep talking because you're making Brayden look real good. Really and truly. I'm over here being like, fuck you guys. And then I'm like, Leave Brayden alone. And then I'm thinking, why am I defending Brayden? This is what the show does to you. You end up defending the bad guy. That's what happens. That always happens. Like, listen, for example, the reason why I'm always so stuck on Thomas being this, like, not great guy is because that was how he was displayed to us on Michelle's season. And I'm just like, okay, there's no way this guy could turn a leaf because he wasn't serious with Michelle. But then he goes on the beach and then he is trying to find somebody who he's clicking with, having a little bit of issues with that. And then here comes Becca. And then they were inseparable. And he fell in love with her. Aaron's like, there's no way he's gonna break her heart because that's what you're used to seeing. And then he proved me very fucking wrong because they're still together. Well, they did break up for a second, apparently, but now they're together, engaged, have a baby. My God. You know what I mean? And I'm like, this is what the show does to you. This could happen for Brayden. There's another guy who was even worse than Thomas. I cannot remember his name, but I remember him being on Hannah Brown's season. And he was horrible. He came on the show and he made friends with the guy that he had fights with. And you're like, oh, you're a half decent human being. That's what's gonna happen. But then I'm gonna get frustrated with the two people who keep. I know it's close for them too because they just finished with charity season. They probably just had this fight with Brayden like 2 months before or something. So I get it. But I'm just like, shut the fuck up. Like, really and truly, shut the fuck up. Like, it's over. It's done with. And like, literally, that's for Brayden. He's like, I don't want to have any drama on this beach. I just want to have fun, find my person, blah, blah, blah. Like, he's not about it. And then Aaron sees him talking to Kylie, and he's like, I'm not even looking at my notes at this point. This is all memory. And he goes and looks over at, talks to Kylie, and Aaron sees it, and he's like, is he seriously talking to Kylie? Is he seriously talking to Kylie? And Sean's like, sorry, bro. Sorry for what? Sorry for what? Kylie doesn't know a single fucking person on that beach, anything at this point. She's not, like, with Aaron. She's not even interested in Aaron. She's more interested in Will at this point. And I'm just like, what the fuck? What the fuck? Like, because you're interested in another girl, you think somebody else isn't? Kylie's gorgeous. There's probably not a guy on that beach who isn't at least thinking to themselves, okay, she's gorgeous. Even if they're not necessarily interested in her in that way. Like, dude, are you good? So then as Brayden is talking to Kylie, and he's kind of, because Kylie's like, is there anyone you're not really excited to see? And he's like, well, I did have a little bit of issues with Aaron. He didn't even mention Sean, I believe. He might have, but I don't remember him mentioning Sean. But he mentions Aaron for sure. And he's like, yeah, I had a little bit of problems with Aaron on my season, but, it is what it is kind of thing. And as that happens, Aaron comes over and he's like, welcome to paradise. Because he gets mad that Brayden didn't say hi to them. You two were off on a love couch together while everybody else is on one side of the beach. He probably didn't even fucking see you nor see that you were even here. You know what I mean? He didn't know all those here besides who he was seeing, who were all grouped together. Give me a break. I'm like, shut up, dude. Shut the fuck up. But yeah, and Aaron's like, ugh, as he walks away. I'm like, but you walked up to him and said hi to him. And Brayden didn't really react. He just said, hi, how are you? Like, he kind of just, like, I told you this is what this bitch is going to do. It's going to make me like Brayden. What the fuck? But I'm like, okay. And Callie's like, oh, that was awkward. And he's like, oh. This just show's going to make me like Brayden. Anyway, but like, yeah, I'm just like, dude, like, come on now. Anyway, also didn't mention that Sean says that the vibes went down as soon as Brayden got down. Everybody on this fucking beach has vibes. I'm so over it. But yeah, he does end up also talking to Rachel and Kat afterwards, Brayden. So that's it for the Brayden stuff for now. Then we see Eliza. Now, Eliza, for those who don't remember from the previous season, Eliza lucked the fuck out, okay, by coupling up with Rodney. Those who don't remember Rodney, he was on Michelle's season. It was probably our favorite from the entire season. I loved him so much. He's the one who gave Michelle an apple. Love him. Love him. He was so loved on the beach. Any woman probably would have given her left arm to have Rodney. Because not only was he a good looking guy, but he's also just a sweetheart. Something you don't always get. But yeah, so Eliza was lucky enough and he really wanted to be with her. And then Justin came along. Justin with his faces. Okay. And to me, I'll honestly say right now is Justin always rubbed me the wrong way in Michelle's season. Oh, no, it wasn't Michelle's season. Justin didn't come from Michelle's. He came from Katie's season. Justin always rubbed me the wrong way. And I'm just like, I never, especially while on the beach, I feel like he didn't make things any better for himself. The complete opposite of Marshall. The complete opposite of him. Because now we're going to compare the two, let's be real here. But I'm just like, okay, she went to Justin, created this love triangle, kissed Justin practically in front of fucking Rodney, leaves the fucking beach. Because, okay, let me back up. She picks Rodney, sends Justin home. My girl still wasn't in it, ends up leaving the beach because she was crying like a psycho to go back with Justin. Rodney was heartbroken, left the beach because this was kind of all towards the end of last season. And my girl then goes to see Justin, and Justin says, "No thanks." He said, "You had your chance. We would have been honest. I had a chance. You sent me home, so no, I'm good." And I was so fucking happy. Because I'm like, listen, girl, you had a good thing with Rodney. So why did you feel the need to leave Rodney to be with Justin? Anyway, she's here. Says you don't want no more love triangles. Just want to be straightforward. I'm like, girl, you created the love triangle to begin with. You were the tippy top point where it was you. Then we see Greer, and then we see Mercedes, and Firefighter's here. I know his real name, guys, but he's always gonna be Firefighter to me. But he's here. Then we start getting a fucking 5 count because these people are saying 5 so fucking much. At that particular point, we were at 11. But trust me, it certainly bypasses 11. Then we see Peter. He shows up. He was on charity season. He's the one we have the drama with at the mental. Even though he was barely there. Then Kat, K-A-T, the annoying cat, she shows up. And then Brooklyn immediately starts mimicking her. It's hot. She isn't happy. So then we see Eliza and Aaron are talking. Then we see Sam. We barely saw Sam. I do remember Sam, but we barely saw Sam because she was on Clayton's season for like a second. She saved herself. It's fine. She fucking knew because my girl left on her own. She freaking knew. She's like, you know what? This isn't gonna go well. I'm gonna leave. She dodged a bullet. Anyway. And then Jesse's kind of like, okay, but listen, you gotta stay. It's a prerequisite. You gotta stay. You can't just leave. You gotta stay. And then she's like, okay, yeah. And she walks down the steps and just hesitating. She turns back around and she's like, do I have a nervous rash? I get nervous rashes. And she's like, so like concerned about this rash. She starts to go again, but then she stops again. And she's like, no, but I still feel it. Oh, Jesus. But then she finally go down. And then we see Olivia. Will says that she's hot, and apparently she smells like a fresh garden. So then they talk, and he tells her that she smells yummy. Then she asks if he would suck her toes. What? Have some self-respect for yourself than to lead with your fucking sexuality, because this is why I'm gonna have a problem with Olivia. As for those who watched the episode know, I have no fucking respect for you. You led with your sexuality on a show that is not supposed to be about that. You're supposed to be finding love, and you led with, do you want to suck my toe? And then wonder why it didn't go anywhere? Because I'm going ahead here, but he literally says that to her the next day, like, you led with that shit, and like, I'm sorry, I'm gonna be very real here. Men are gross. We know this already, right? But the thing with men is, when a man is looking for something serious and long term, permanent, he wants that commitment, he wants that love. There's no quicker way to turn a man off than leading with your sexuality, because then he's just going to take advantage and then he's going to be done with you. Because you're going to be like, well, you're one I can have fun with, but not one I can marry. So, deuces. You know what I mean? And I feel like that's what happened here. So anyway, so she says, like, do you want to suck my toe? He says, like, that escalated quickly. So then she does go and puts her feet in the ocean, I guess, to suck her toe. I don't know. And literally, I looked at him here, and I could see in his face, he was completely turned off. And he never said those words, but you could see in his face, like, he was like, the fuck is happening right now? Like, but yeah, his face has that completely on. He was not about this. Then, but the one thing that I'm gonna say here, and I don't know if he did this to shut her up or actually really was trying to kiss her, because this is what kind of threw me off a little bit. This one thing I have to give her a little bit, but at the same time, it's not much to give her. He grabs her face and kisses her. Why? Now, I don't know if he was, like, what was going to happen here, but I don't know. Anyway. Do you want to spice up your love life? Well, you can make that happen by going to Love Shop, where you can get sorts of different things, whether it's for both you and your partner or just for yourself. For solo play, you can get things, all types of vibrators, maybe more kinky type toys, or you can just buy what every person may need, like lingerie or protection, or even just something to make it a little more fun, like games or novelty things. You can do all of this by going to Love Shop, and you can use our unique coupon code REALITYT2 to get 10% on anything your heart's desire. So that's loveshop.ca, LOVESHOP.ca, and use our unique coupon code REALITY2. That's REALITEA and the number 2. Then we see Jess. And of course, she's here with her body glitter. And Sean goes in immediately, like immediately, as we kind of expect, because he likes her. But he asks, how's Taylor Swift? And she starts to like answer, but then she's like, wait, how do you even know that? Y'all, he is stalking her Instagram. That's how he knows that. I don't understand that. Like, I have an Instagram. Obviously, this podcast has an Instagram, but I don't understand people just sitting on people's Instagrams and like stalking them. I don't get it. Maybe because I have a boyfriend, but like, I don't get it. I guess I kind of stalk his Instagram a little bit because he had a video on there where he was like working out. Someone took a video of him working out when he was still in school, and I was like, But again, I haven't done that in years, and I'm just like, otherwise, like I don't understand people doing that. If it's someone that you're not with, it makes it even worse for me because I'm like, ew, like that's again boundaries. There are none. Um, but then yeah, it's like, oh, I like Taylor Swift too. Blah blah blah. No, you don't. No, you don't. You probably just started listening to Anti-Hero because she likes Anti-Hero. You know what I mean? You started listening to her music because she likes her music. Come on. Come on now. Like, no way. No way. This is what I mean about him. I feel like he becomes who he needs to become in order for that person to like him. Do you think he was listening to Taylor Swift? Like, I don't know if Charity's a Swiftie. I don't know. And again, no hatred here. I'm not a Swiftie, but I do like her music. 'Cause I feel like a Swiftie is just over and beyond me disliking her music. I don't classify myself as a Swiftie in that case, but I like her music. I don't like everything because I pick and choose. There's some, I won't say what songs, but it's one of her more recent songs that I'm just like, this isn't good. But every Swiftie's like, it's not good. I'm like, no, listen to the lyrics. It's not that good. It's really not that good. She's a great songwriter. She could do better with this song. But I'm not gonna say what song it is because I don't want to be hated on. But like if she has like okay, think of it this way: her last album, there's probably been 3 or 4 singles that have come out. I liked, like say, 2 out of the 3 or 3 out of 4, whatever it is. So yeah, let's say that. Anyway, this guy's not Swiftie. So, she does think that he's nice, but she does want to explore other options. Then we see Blake, and my God, the women, are just, oh my God, he's so hot. Look at his body. Oh my, like literally, I mean, my guy looked like he was sculpted with a hot, oof, everything about him. Because he's never been like one that I've really always gravitated towards, but his body looks amazing. His hair is perfect for the look. Like the whole thing, love it. Just chef's kiss. Oof. Anyway, then Rachel and Olivia talk. And they're not talking about Olivia and Will's kiss because everyone saw the kiss. Everyone saw the kiss. And then we continue about talking about sucking toes. And Rachel says that she would suck a toe. And I said, as a heterosexual woman, the fuck I will. I'm not sucking a toe. And I hear her point here. Worst things have been in my mouth. But I would rather that. I'd rather that than his toe. I stand by what I said. I've sucked a finger. If he's listening to this, he's probably completely horrified. But yeah, I sucked a finger. That's fun. Toes, I draw the line. But I don't have a foot fetish, so that I've never, and I don't feel like maybe men are into sucking, getting their toes sucked. I don't know. But I feel like when I think about something being sucked, it's not their toe, it's not their leg. So, anyway. So then Jesse shows up. Of course he does. And then we're going to talk paradise, guys. So, we're not going to go into all the conversations about, you can find love here because, you know, Joe and Serena did. They're married, and Becca and Dom's did. They have a kid now. Or like Ashley and Jared, because he didn't mention everybody. We're not going to talk about the ones that failed, though. Like Brandon and Serene. Or that one guy and that one woman whose name I can't remember. Um, the one that we definitely thought they would not end up together, but then they got married and had kids. Blonde girl, guy with brown hair. I can't remember the names. Anyways, we won't talk the ones that have failed. Her name is Lindsay, I think, and his name I can't even remotely remember. Anyway, we won't talk those ones though. But he's like, if you've done the math, I'm sure you can tell. The men have the power this week. Has it ever happened where the women have the power first? Because I feel like that's never happened. Maybe I'm wrong, but I want the women to have the power first. Why does the men have to have the power first? Does it depend on the fact that maybe I'm wrong? That's what I'm saying. Like I could be completely wrong, but doesn't it matter? I guess like if we've finished with the Bachelorette, then the men can. Like I'm just trying to work this in my mind because I feel like it's never happened, and it's always the men first to have the power on the beach, but. Anyway, the men had the power first. There's 11 men and 7 women. So 4 women are going to be sent home at the end of the week. And, we know the drill. Whoever doesn't get a rose gets the boo to go home. So I'm not going to go too much in as the men and the women going to their sides, like their quarters or whatever. I'm not going to go into all of that. But the men and the women do talk on their own before mingling back with each other. And we do know that during that time with the women is when Kylie finds out that Will and Olivia kissed. She didn't know. She's a little upset about it because she likes Will. So when they get back down to the beach, Kylie does say to Will, I know you kissed Olivia. And he's like a little, like, he's upset that she's upset. Like, he didn't want to upset her or anything like that. Like, he seems to really like her. So yeah. Then Greer, which I don't think I mentioned, she showed up. Did I mention Greer showed up? She did. So anyway, Greer is from Zach season. Anyway, she comes with a date card and it's for Kylie. I think the card said, pick your first spark and set something ablaze. I don't know. So she's scared and doesn't know what she should do. So this is how I kind of know, like, she wanted to probably pick Will right off the bat. But because now she knows that Will kissed Olivia, she's like, what do I do? She also says, like, she doesn't want to be a part of that. She doesn't want to be in a love triangle with him and Olivia. Like, maybe she should just leave that alone. But, so she does decide to take a minute, gather her thoughts. Brayden says that he would just love to go on this date. Of course he would. I think every guy here would. Will hopes that she does choose him, but knows he may have just fucked things up by kissing Olivia. Olivia says, I don't know who Kylie is taking, but I'm not worried. Girl, you should be. Kylie says that she doesn't want to, mess with people. But, like I said, she clearly is connecting with him, with Will. Then she comes back and she decides to take Will. And I wrote, cue the drama. Olivia says it's weird. She says, you know what? He's grown. I'm grown. We can do what we want. But in the same breath is like, don't mag on me and go on a date with someone else. This is fucking paradise, honey. He's allowed to explore his options. So he explored his options and he still wanted to be with Kylie. I get that he kissed you and that is maybe a reason that he should have just had a conversation with you. But spoiler alert, he does end up having a conversation with her. Just not when she wanted it. She wanted it that night before he left and not after. But usually, I don't know if you've seen the show before, Olivia, although I'm pretty sure you've been on the show before. Usually those things happen for those who are actually in relationships and then someone asks them to go on a date. You know what I mean? That wasn't the case here. You guys are not together. The only interaction I see with you and him is that kiss. That's it. Like, calm down. He owes you nothing. And now you owe him nothing. Anyway. Yeah, she's upset with him not talking to her. She's upset that Kylie didn't talk to her. And I'm just, neither person owes you shit. Neither person owes you shit. And the other day, he puts a Kylie first. And you weren't there when he did, but he did speak to her first. Clearly, there was something that drew his attention to her. And it was really something that didn't with you. Because maybe he got turned off. But anyway. And she says, respect is off the table, apparently. She's a lot. Like, whoa. Anyway, enough of that. Because why? Wells is here. I love Wells. I love him so much. Like, so much. No one really knows how much I love Wells. Like, it's not like, I just love him. I just love him. He's such a sweet, 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 sweet guy. I love him. I love him. Anyway, he's here. And we still see Olivia talking about it. I just want to enjoy Wells. I don't care. She feels like, again, one or both of them should have talked to her. They owe you nothing, like I said, but they are now ready for their date and they're leaving. Kylie is worried about Olivia, and the women kind of say to her, like, don't be worried about Olivia, like, whatever. And then as they're leaving, Olivia starts clapping. Why? And she says that the childish part of her wants them to not work. And I said, wait, because the childish part of you hasn't come out already? You're trying to act like the childish part of her hasn't come out. And I'm like, oh, honey, it's out. It's out. Like, you are, like, so now we're at the date. This is fucking great. So now we're at the date. And they're going to be having dinner that's at a table that's in the pool. So yeah. So he helps her to sit on her chair, being a gentleman about it. And then all of a sudden, as he's trying to round the table, he goes on the right hand side of the table, and just bam, falls into the water. Because I guess what happened is that if you go into the other part of the pool, it's actually a pool, right? So bam, he falls into the pool. Like, he literally just accidentally dives in. And it's all wet. And the show kind of just trolls the fuck out of him at this point, because they show it again 2 other times. First in slow-mo, and then in super slow-mo. Wow. That's fucking great, guys. Maybe you could have warned him. But anyway, I'm happy you didn't because this is great. It's golden. Um, Now he says, I have to go through this date. What now? Like he's still kind of being a trooper about it, obviously. And he says, I have a fear of water. First it was my jacket. Now it's this. Poor guy. Um, so now we're back at the beach. And Brayden really wanted this date. You talked to her once, dude. Calm down. Um, he has to, and he's kind of saying this to Paul, is that he just wants to be picked sometimes. Okay. Okay, sir. I'm not gonna have a problem with you because you are pretty much Charity's number one. You were her number one. You got the first fucking impression. Impression Rose. You didn't get the first date, but you got the second one-on-one date, and she was all in on you. Despite the red fucking flag, she was all in on you. And you want to say here that you don't feel picked, and you want to be picked? You self-eliminated yourself. Are you kidding me? And she didn't want you to go, but of course she wasn't gonna make you stay. You just want to feel picked? What fuckery did I just hear? You just want to be picked. Yeah, I don't listen. I don't think they ever would have been together. She's right where she needs to be with Dalton. She's right where she needs to be. But you were picked. You just decided to not be picked anymore. So then you want to come on the beach and say, I just want to be picked. You literally came off a season where you were it, sir. Like, she was all in on you. When I don't want to be picked, what the fuck? When I heard him say that with both ways, you've been picked. You were picked. You just decided to go and be Bigfoot because you didn't want to be there anymore. Like, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so then he's like, listen, I'm on this date. I'm sorry, I'm on this beach. And I need to explore my options, he says. So he walks over to the women and he sits down, pops himself there, and he's doing exactly that. And from that, he goes and he talks to Kat, and they go off on one of the live bed things, and he we did see this clip already from the the men tell all. So I'm not gonna go through all of it again, but what I do want to mention here is beige. Whose favorite fucking color is beige? Beige isn't even a color, it's a fucking shade. Beige? Not just her personality. Anyway, and then they kiss. The end. So then Rachel and Sean talk. And I wrote, this is weird. Because I don't understand. What is her type? Listen, I want to understand what her type is. Because when we look at kind of what her types were for the men we've seen her with, she's been with Clayton. I am, but I understood it. I understand that her being her type. When she was with Tino or Tito or whatever the hell his name was, you were. It made sense to me. That made sense. Not even that. She also was really into Logan, as Gabby was as well. That also made sense to me. Sean, and as we see, kind of like even Brayden, that made sense to me. Sean, I don't get it, but who am I? I don't know. Maybe her type's all over the board, but I think that's the fucking problem. Her type's everywhere. And then, like, no, no, no. But anyway, they kiss. This is so weird, but they kiss. But anyways, and then we kind of get like a montage of the different couples that we see are kind of forming at this point. So like we have Will and Kylie off on their date. They're connecting. Blake and Jess are connecting. My boy Firefighter and Sam are connecting. Brandon and Kat, we know, are connecting. Aaron and Mercedes, they kiss and they connect. So all the people I think have kissed and like they're becoming a thing. So then like Olivia, she's still talking about everything, about what happened. She's talking to Wells actually, and like how she feels about it. Wells is kind of, because again, Wells is going to be on side of everybody, right? He's going to be an impartial person because that's how much I love him. And he's kind of like, he just went on the date and talked to you. He's talking about, because he kissed you. He's talking about sucking toes. And he's like, this is getting crazy. But, I mean, Olivia, you're too much. Like, you're too much. Calm down, girl. Um, so then Kylie wants to make sure she's not stepping on anyone's toes. Since we're talking about toes, he tells her that she is his strongest connection. So not to worry. And they kiss. So they've now become a thing, I guess, as well. So now it's the next day, and Kat is scared of the bugs, and Brayden is kind of. This is the thing. This is how I know Brayden does not work well with Kat for very long, because she's complaining about the bugs, and she complained about the bugs before too. When they were together, because I saw on the blooper, she was trying to say cicadas, but she said something else completely different. She really doesn't like cicadas. First of all, I don't think cicadas really do anything, but they are really disgusting creatures. I actually Googled them after, and I'm like, ew, like that's disgusting. But yeah, she's like freaking out about that. And then she sees more bugs, and she's freaking out about that. This is gonna get very old for him very quickly, because Brayden, like when they did that date, when they did that outdoor date, and he says like, I really thrive in the outdoors and I love the outdoors and blah, blah, blah. This is going to get over really quickly. And you can see it on his face. He's already annoyed. He's trying to hide it, but he's already annoyed. He's like, he just wants a woman who's not going to complain about the bugs all the time. Me and him probably wouldn't work either. Which is fine. He's too young for me. He's way too young for me. But yeah, I'm just like, he's gonna get really frustrated really quickly at Kat because she complains a lot, and that's just that's not him. And anyway, Firefighter doesn't think that Will was being a man. Firefighter, sit down, please, and stay in your lane. This is paradise. He owes nothing to Olivia. It was just a kiss. Like, I can understand, like, being upset and being hurt about that. And maybe if you need to express that, that's fine. But my girl's acting like he belongs to her. He owed her nothing. Like, get over it. So then, yeah, we see Olivia's still mad. Then Will does say, can we talk? And he's going to basically just tell her, like, how he felt about Kylie. So I'm going to go based on my memory here because, spoiler alert, I was falling asleep during doing these notes. But basically, he, says to her, like, things went well with Kylie, blah, blah, blah. And basically, he's admitting he's probably going to pursue it with her. And, he doesn't want having hard feelings, blah, blah. And she says, okay, but you, like, we're talking about sucking my toe. Like, you wanted to suck my toe. Girl, you brought up the sucking of a toe thing. He actually didn't say anything about really sucking your toes. Or something, like, expressing an interest in sucking your toes. Like, he said, like, they look nice and whatever and blah, blah, blah. But, like, he fully said, oh, this escalated quick. He wasn't interested. And then the one thing I'll give her, though, is she says, you grabbed my face and you kissed me. That is true. He did. He did do that. But again, Maybe he's wanting to shut you up. I don't know. Maybe he wanted to see if there's a spark there with a kiss. I don't know. But maybe there just wasn't. That's the thing. Maybe there just wasn't a spark. So then she says, like, you should have spoke to me yesterday. Because I think he actually says to her, like, I'm trying to do the respectful thing here of talking to you about it. And she said, the respectful thing would have been to do it, like, yesterday before you left. And he's like, well, I don't really think that I owed you a conversation. We weren't, like, dating or exclusive or any means, but, like, I'm talking to you now because it's the right thing to do. But I didn't owe you anything. And she took such an issue with the fact that he said, I didn't owe you anything. And I'm just like, but he didn't. He didn't owe you jack shit. He didn't owe you anything. The fact that he's been having the conversation with you shows that he is man enough to have a conversation. But there are some men who wouldn't even do that. Do you think Brayden would have done that? No. Not at all. Like, there are certain men, once they hit a certain age, so we're here, in a certain maturity level, they can have these conversations. I'm like, but honey, he didn't have to do that. He did not have to, but he did. And that's great. But he didn't have to have that conversation with you. He didn't owe you it. So yeah, he says, like, like, what else was there to talk about? So then she's obviously mad. She's mad with him. She's mad with Kylie. And she kind of says, like, when she gets back to the group, I know she's waiting for Aven. I know that's what she wants to see. She doesn't care about him. She's just biding her time until she sees Aven. And she's like, I hope Aven comes down these stairs because I'm also interested in Aven. Were you always interested in Aven? Or are you just conveniently now interested in Aven? Which again shows your childishness. But anyway, she's like, I hope Aven comes down these stairs. And so that I can have my chance with him, blah, blah, blah. And then we see Aven walking downstairs. And we gotta end it there. Whew. So from what we could see, in the coming up on this coming season, well, I'm gonna mainly talk about the Aven stuff because I really can't remember anything else, but I'm gonna go through the whole, like, the season on thing. But we do kind of see Aven is not only talking to Olivia, but he does talk to Kylie. I don't know who he takes on the date, but I wouldn't be surprised if it wasn't Olivia and he took Kylie. Because the thing is, if you see Will crying like a baby, like heartbroken type crying. I mean, the one thing I'll say about Olivia is she's not wrong. She was going to be biding her time waiting for Aven to come. We've seen it before. I don't like it. I don't like when people do that. I don't like when you fuck with people just so you can wait to see if someone comes. But it's paradise. That's what happens, I guess. It's not like they're colluding with each other to be there on the beach together like some people have. But yeah, there's gonna be some drama. And I know most of you already know because you probably watched the episode. I haven't watched it yet. But yeah. Anyway, that is it for Bachelor Paradise for last week. We should be able to get the most recent one to you fairly soon. Especially with me being off. I love it. I can just work on the podcast. But that is it for Bachelor in Paradise for, well, this week, last week, you know. So if you like what you heard, please share Reality Tea ×2 with everyone in your life. That's going to help with our growth. And we really want to grow this podcast. Another way you can grow it is by also rating and reviewing us on either Apple Podcasts or Spotify. The links to those podcasts, links to the Spotify and Apple Podcasts, will be in the show notes. You can find us on any of your favorite podcast apps, but if there's an app that you don't see us on, that you want to see us on, please let me know and I can get that up on that podcast app. If you are an avid YouTube user, you can listen to this podcast on YouTube by going to Reality T times 2. If you want to connect with us, you can do so by connecting with us on either Facebook at Reality T times 2 or Instagram and Threads at Reality T times 2 podcast. You can also email us. We would love to hear from you. Also, if you want to guest on the podcast at some point, whether we talk about your favorite show or just get to know each other, you can email us at realitytimes2@hotmail.com and you can make that request and we can talk and we can figure that out. So you can email us at that email. We have a new website where you can get links to everything. You can get links to our Facebook page, Instagram page, Threads, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everything your heart's desire, as well as we do now have a Discord, so you can follow us and talk to us on the Discord app. You can get all of that information at the website, and the website is www.solo.to/reality times 2. I also have a new podcast with my friend Mikkel called Next Take Podcast, and you can either listen to us at YouTube at the link that's going to be in the show notes. I believe that is Next Take Podcast, and you can also go to our website. There you can have all the links to all of our social medias, email, everything. Our episodes as well will be at the website, which is www.solo.to/next take podcast. All of the information, everything that I have just said, will be in our show notes. Well, that's it for now, guys. Thanks. Bye. Have you ever thought of starting your very own podcast? Doing the research, I found something that would have made editing easy and seamless and makes the podcasting experience just that much easier. And I am talking about Ludo. This is a podcast software that I use for editing of our episodes. It is amazing. It is easy. You're also able to get help from doing chats and getting the information that maybe you just need a little more help with. They also have access to different articles that can also help you that have been just godsends for me. Also with the Ludo, you can create clips, you can do your ads, that's like this very one I'm doing right now, and you can create your trailer very seamlessly just by the clicks of buttons. You can also use a Ludo to publish your episodes just straight from the software. It's so easy. I highly recommend it. You can get access to a Ludo by using our unique link, which you can find on our show notes, just down there at the bottom at the show notes. and you can get access to an easy software